Hello, hello, hello. I'm Marcia Bent from Think Premium JA. And in today's super short video, I'm going to be doing a part 3 on things you didn't know about the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And the first one I'm actually going to start off with is, when does the Sabbath officially start? So the Sabbath, what I knew of the Sabbath before becoming an Adventist was that it starts from sundown Friday evening to sundown Saturday evening. All right, that's when the Sabbath would start. And you can actually see evidence in um you can actually we know of the Sabbath in the Bible. We know that on the seventh day God rested, and the Sabbath is to be kept holy. Now, one of the things that I actually struggled with, especially, early on, as I got into the, as I got into my Seventh-day Adventist faith, that I'm trying to find the best word to word that, right? Although I know that in Genesis chapter 2, verse 2, where it says, by the seventh day, God finished what he had been doing and stopped working. And verse 3 says he blessed the seventh day and set it apart as a special day because by that day he had completed his creation and stopped working. I didn't know exactly what that meant. So what I actually learned is that typically you tend to find like a lot of Adventists actually count from 5:30 p.m. their time on Fridays as when that Sabbath would start. I was just looking at it as physical sundown. I actually didn't know. And I was always wondering why I'd say like a lot of Adventists, like as 5 o'clock touch, so must say, fear happy Sabbath. So that's when you tend to see a lot of them do it. Now, I mean, granted, a lot of people do work. So by 5 o'clock, a lot of Seventh-day Adventists leave work. And you're usually trying to wind down. So like preparing for church, ideally should have been done from the Sunday after the Sabbath for the next Sunday. So you really shouldn't be doing anything serious the Friday after sundown to the Saturday after sundown. Ideally, your cooking should have been done before, but guess what? Life happens. So people can understand the cooking, people can understand the bathing, people can understand the childcare, but like really intensive chores, you really shouldn't be doing it on the Sabbath, right? So that's something that people actually don't talk about. So ideally, 5:30. And I know this helped somebody out there listening in YouTube land, so you're welcome. You are not alone. I understand the struggle. So what do people typically do on the Sabbath? Great question. Now, this is something that I actually didn't know about until I joined and, to spend some time. We have something called Vespers, and I'm making sure I'm getting the spelling down correctly. I think it's V Vesper. That's with an S, of course, right? Now, it's kind of the same spelling as a Vespa Martini, except there's an S. I don't know if I helped somebody by saying that, but if I did, you can comment down below. You're welcome, right? So what Vespas is, and I'm making sure I'm actually Googling this definition here to ensure that I am accurate, because again, I'm still very new to the faith, so you don't know how that thing go, right? But it's really that period to mark the start of the Sabbath where Seventh-day Adventists either have like a light worship session or a full-on worship session to really thank God. It's a special time, according to askanadventistfriend.com, of worshiping God to begin and end the Sabbath. So you have it at the start of the Sabbath, which will be the Friday evening at sundown. I have it at the end of the Sabbath, which will be Sunday evening, right? Now, it's not necessarily it has to happen at 5:30 p.m., but once that Sabbath starts, it's usually around that time. So for instance, you probably see like some Seventh-day Adventists do it like the 7:30 p.m. After you settle down, you showered up, you're relaxed and everything, tummy full, all of these nice things. You see them settle down for the evening prayer, right? And Vespers can also be called evening star. It can also, and Vespers comes from the Latin word vespera, and it means evening. So Vesper, evening star, and Vespera means evening. And again, this is from Ask an Adventist Friend. Now, during that time, what that worship session would look like, it would look like a quiet time of Bible reading. It can be a small casual home gathering, and it can even be a formal worship service, depending on how many people you have around you. You can do it by Zoom, you can do it in person, you can do it over the phone. I was actually blessed by a church member. She was very kind, invited me and several people from the church, and we had a wonderful Sabbath lunch. And she also blessed us with an opportunity to have Vespers at her home. I don't know if I can mention her name because I don't know if somebody from the church might be watching. You never know. I don't want to put her in an awkward situation, but she was so kind and I really appreciated it. And she was one of the kind ladies that reached out to me shortly after I got baptized. And it meant so much to me. It really made me feel very welcome. And, with that time of Vespers, because you're spending that time worshiping God and everything, it gives you that little sense of fellowship when you do it with other persons. You can't do it by yourself, don't get me wrong. But it creates a sense of fellowship. So at the session I had with her, she had invited me on, we were singing together. So each person took a verse of the hymn. So we sing hymnals. We each read a verse of the Bible for a chapter. We give our interpretation of the verses that we read. Of course, there's gonna start and end the prayer. So you'd have the prayer at the start and the prayer at the end, because you have to give thanks to the word and everything. And one of the things I actually like with Seventh-day Adventists, we actually pray. So we pray at the start of a gathering before we discuss the word, and at the end of the gathering after discussing the word as well. So it's not just during the church service that we pray during the Bible studies as well. We do it the same way, and I thought it was very refreshing. Another thing that I would say that I thought was actually very sweet is that, there's a really encouraging sense of community spirit around Seventh-day Adventists. Like, not only is it so easy to come in and see something that you can do in the community and add value in some way, and that's something that's important to me because having seen various members of my family backslide, I realized very early on, if I was ever going to be baptized, that I would try as quickly as possible, emphasis on the quickly as possible, to get into something so I don't backslide because the people around me did. Long story short, so that was my driving thing. So my hair was literally wet from the baptism, and I was around asking, okay, so do you need any help with serving any food? Need any help with anything? That's actually the first time I went to the homestead place of safety, the day of my baptism. Literally, I changed my clothes and I got some food and they carried me down there because I was just asking questions like, what could I do? Because I was just like, listen, it's go time. And that's one of the things that you want to prevent. Like, you really are serious about not backsliding, try to get into a community in some way. And there are various ways to get into the community because the Adventist movement is so organized. You have the communications and you have the you can get into the choir, you can get into welfare, like serving food and giving out groceries. You can get into the Sabbath school training, like you're teaching the babies. You can get into the Bible study. You can get into personal ministries where you're going to different homes and, visiting shut-ins. There's so many things you can get into that you just have to find your thing. There's Pathfinders, which that's something that I actually didn't know about until becoming an Adventist. And, with Pathfinders, Girl Scouts, Girl Guides and Scouts or cadets, or what do you call them again? Yeah, I think it's Girl Scouts in the US. I'm not sure which country you might be watching this video from, but it's pretty much the same setup, except it's really for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'm looking for the actual definition according to Google. They actually have like a law They have a uniform. They like I really admire the young persons who go through the Pathfinders movement. And the whole point of it is enlarging their windows to the world and building a relationship with God are the dual objectives of this club designed for children ages 10 to 15. But don't get me wrong, you have babies that are in it too, little babies, little 3 year olds, and you have adults that are in it as well. So there's no, they have to, of course, be willing to learn. I mean, from what I'm seeing here, the requirement is being 10 years of age and no more than 15. We do have persons who are younger than that I would have seen as well. So, I'm not sure how it works, but I thought it was very, very admirable, right? And because there's so many arms or activities or groups within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, it's it's hard not to find something to do. And not only that, you also need to understand that there's an organizational structure within the Seventh-day Adventist movement. Yeah, so, and I want to make sure I'm not telling anybody any foolishness. I want to make sure I'm not telling anybody any foolishness. So I'm getting my words together, and I'm also doing my own fact checking on my end just to make sure. Because again, I'm very, very new. So I don't want to get people in any trouble. But at the head of it would be the General Conference. That's the World Church that pretty much governs everybody. And then under that, no, you'd have like different different groups. Now, I'm not gonna get into all of that. I'm gonna leave that for another video because I want a senior church member to just guide me through that hierarchy just one more time because it's still a little bit new, the hair is a little wet in some areas, so you know how it is. I'm not gonna, I want to make sure I fully understand before I expound on it. But what I like though is that there's so many ways to get involved. You have the hospitality committee, so you can greet people at the door, you can be an usher, you can be a deacon, deaconess. Um, of course, as a Seventh-day Adventist, you're expected to evangelize because you're expected to help to prepare people for, the second coming of Christ and everything. But there are just so many different ways in which you can get involved that if you choose to just leave the church right after church service done and don't do nothing, that is your choice. Like literally, there's so many different ways in which you can give service and be a part of the whole thing. Because I mean, they have potlucks, which is actually really nice. So like the potlucks are not like a fun day. I thought it was like a fun day. It's actually not like a fun day. We have food, we get together, we pray, we just enjoy each other's company. The pastor may or may not say something, and that's really just it. We're just fellowshipping. So if it's like let's say a church-wide potluck, you'll have like different tents with the different food, and people go around and talk and everything. Or it would be a group, like for example, with the new members, and I was just getting welcome as a new member. Shortly afterwards, we had a new members potluck. It goes for that quarter or something like that, some or second of the year or something like that. And all of the new members that would have newly been baptized got to be a part of it. And I thought it was very nice. I enjoyed it. And yeah, still, I hope that helps. I really hope that helps. Oh, by the way, we also have like different so you're gonna have like rallies or crusades. You'll still have that, but what you'll also find is you'll have Bible study. So a Seventh-day Adventist church may have the Bible study within theirs, or they might invite another church within their division to join them for their Bible study. So, like for example, I go to Andrews Seventh-day Adventist Church. You can also go to the New Kingston Seventh-day Adventist Church movement, which means at the University College of the Caribbean. You can do that as well. And on Select Sabbath, we'll also have like webinars where like different pastors or different youth leaders would have their seminars and invite us to join, and it's an opportunity to fellowship as well. So You can do Vespers that way too if you want. It's an opportunity. There's always something new and something that people don't tell you about Seventh-day Adventists. There's a lot to read. Yes, if you're a bookworm, there are books to stone dog. You can read to your heart's content. So you'll have stuff from Ellen G. White and a few other people, but you'll tend to see a lot of stuff from Ellen G. White where really giving a lot of key insights on the Seventh-day movement are concerned, but it's not limited to her, and nothing that we do replaces the Bible. So don't get me wrong, there's sinners everywhere. But if you see a church where the Bible is not the main instrument that's used to speak about God and to communicate God's message, I would be a little concerned and I would bring that to God. So even like with my church now, of course we use the Bible. Like it's one of the things that I really had respected when I was attending the church for the very first time. Like I really liked how the pastor used the Bible, but he also incorporated some real life examples, incorporated research, and a lot of the research would have featured a few key aspects from writings from Ellen G. White, etc., but and other persons, but it's done so nice. Like the Seventh-day Adventists, they they're not against education. I promise you, they're not against education. And I thought that was so refreshing. Anyway, that's it for me. I said I was going to keep this video short, and I will. Again, I'm Marcy Ben from Think Premium JA, and I offer social media marketing, email marketing, blogging, other forms of sales copywriting. I have 2 online courses. I offer business consultation services, and I also have an online store where I sell products that you're likely to need in the next 2 weeks. Anyway, like laundry detergent, fabric softener, protein powders, meal replacement shakes, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, a wide variety of multivitamins and supplements, even down to fertilizers, shaving products, hair care products, you name it, I got it. And I actually need your help because 30% of the proceeds from the sale of my online store products will actually go towards helping the young ladies at the Homestead Girls Home to really improve their mindset. And I would also be donating 10% of the proceeds from my digital marketing services sales towards that as well. So I really could use your help. Let me know if this is something that you'd be open to by reaching out to me using the details provided in the description below. All right. And of course, if you like the video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. So that way I can actually have the algorithm push this video some more. I can know that you liked the video and you got value from it. I would love the encouragement. And, by commenting down below, you actually help me to be able to make more content that would add value to you. My goal is to minister about God through business. And of course, I'd love to reach out to at least 800,000 people by the end of the year. And I'd love your help in doing that so I can make relevant content that does that. I'd love it if you subscribe so that way you can keep in touch with other great videos like this as soon as they drop. You get that alert. Hit that bell button down below. You know how it is. And yeah, please share the video. I'd appreciate it. That's it for me. Take care. Have a wonderful day. And remember to never stop dreaming. Goodbye.